Thank you, God, for another day to figure it out, another day to be better than we was before. So check, right? I was thinking, man, I was really sitting back and I just kept asking myself over and over again, at what point do we stop playing victim? You know what I mean? Like, for real, right? Like, at what point does the idea of victimhood just go out the door? Like, reality is, man, ain't nobody coming to save us. Ain't nobody coming to save you. No one cares. Like, they don't, man. Everybody is going through their own thing. Everybody is carrying a burden. Everybody has something going on that they feel is way more important than your stuff. So no one cares, you know what I'm saying? So the whole idea of being a victim and the world did this to me and the white man and America and da-da-da-da, shut up with all that, man. At the end of the day, you gotta do something. Right now, you still here, you alive, you count, whether you believe it or not. You know what I'm saying? Whether you believe it or not, whether you recognize it or not, the world is still moving all around you. So what you gonna do? You can sit back and continue to play victim and complain and waddle in your shit, or you can be honest with yourself, with your situation, deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Be real with yourself, man. You Jag. You don't want to hear that. I know it's too early, but at the end of the day, you Jag. You made a decision. You was in that relationship. You messed up. You did something wrong. You know what I'm saying? You made that choice. And it's okay. You still get another chance to do it again. And do it better next time. If you give it the chance, given the chance again, you can do better. That's the beautiful part about how this thing works. And it's all about perspective. It's all about perspective. Is the cup half full or is the cup half empty? Meaning, do you give yourself enough grace? Do you give yourself enough honesty and say, hey, you know what? I did Jag. It was my decision. Directly or indirectly. It happened. This is who I am. This is what's going on. And you move on from it. You know what I'm saying? That is part of the reason why we serve God. To give God the glory. To give God the burden. To lay things down on his altar to say, hey, I can't carry this. Right? But what you have to do, what we all have to do, is really recognize our shit quick. You got to recognize it immediately. This is the truth. This is what I'm going through. This is how I'm feeling. And then guess what? You process it and you get over it and you keep it moving. If not, you might as well die, man. Because that's all that's going to happen. You're going to just lead yourself to an early grave. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's a physical death, a mental death, a spiritual death, you're going to die. Trying to stay stagnant, sitting around complaining, worrying, and hoping that something is going to change without you taking the time to change. The only way things change in your life is if you change. Period. You have to change. You change your mind. Once you change your mind, you change your behavior. Once you change your behavior, you change your life. It is a simple 3-step process. And I get it. I totally understand that, you know, you hurt and you mad and you angry and you frustrated and you high. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you're not in your right mind. So because you're not in your right mind, it's almost impossible to try to figure out a way to, you know, get these things together. It's impossible. You're not in your right mind. You're not aligned. You're not centered. You don't know who you are and where you are. So you can't even hear me. You know, if I'm telling you this and you ain't in your right mind, trust me, I sound like I'm tripping. But if you're in your right mind and you know that you're trying to figure it out, that voice in your head, that God that's in you, it always listens. That is the alignment. That is your center. You know what I mean? And you have to be true to it. That's the only way you're going to get out of your situation, man. That's it. That's all.